In this video, I'd like to talk about how to get rid of tight hip flexors by understanding the anatomy of the hip flexors. We're going to go through the anatomy of the hip flexors, and then I'm going to give you some great exercises you can do to really alleviate these tight hip flexors. Hello everyone, my name is 𝘾𝙊𝘾𝙃𝙄𝙉𝙂, and I've been a fitness trainer and gym owner for over 25 years. And if this is your first time here and you really want to learn how to condition and develop the body along with me, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I put out videos like this every single week. Now let's talk about why do I think so many people have tight hip flexors. Okay, first of all, you have to understand the anatomy to really fix the problem. And in my opinion, stretching them, like doing static stretching, like lunge type stretches, is only going to temporarily fix it. But to really permanently fix tight hip flexors, let's go over the anatomy and I'll give you some specific exercises you can do at the end of the video that's really going to make them flexible, stable, and strong. Okay, let's talk about the three primary hip flexors. Okay, one of the big ones is called rectus femoris. Now, rectus femoris is one of the four quadricep muscles, like that extend the leg, that extend the knee. But rectus femoris is actually a hip flexor too, because it crosses the hip and actually crosses the knee. Okay, so for example, it attaches down low to the patella and via tendon to the tibia. So this is the bottom part of where rectus femoris attaches. Then it runs up as a big, long, powerful muscle and attaches to the little notch on the pelvis called the anterior inferior iliac spine. So it attaches right here. And its primary function is to flex the leg. It flexes the leg up. Okay, now what happens if this muscle is tight? If this muscle is tight, it's going to make your pelvis tilt forward and give you that arch back, which can potentially lead to back pain and other type issues. Okay, now the second hip flexor I want to talk about is called iliacus. Okay, iliacus attaches to the ilium, to your pelvis, to the front part of your pelvis. It tucks in right here. It's a big, powerful muscle, and attaches to this tuberosity, this little notch here on the femur is called the lesser trochanter. Okay, so what this does, it actually flexes the leg as well too, flexes the hip too. But just think, it doesn't go all the way down, so there's no involvement with the lower leg like rectus femoris. It just attaches to the femur. Okay, now the third hip flexor I want to talk about is called psoas. There's a psoas major and a psoas minor. Let's talk about psoas major more. That's really more of the primary hip flexor here. That's also going to attach, just like iliacus is going to attach to this lesser trochanter right here. It's going to run up. It's going to attach to those lower few lumbar vertebrae and these transverse processes. Okay, now if iliacus and psoas are tight, similar to rectus femoris, they really can create that arch back, that extension. That's one of the primary problems when it comes to tight hip flexors. People also complain, personal training clients come to me, they're always complaining about back pain. You know, I'll do an evaluation on them, I see that the hip flexors are really, really tight. Okay, now the obvious solution would be just to stretch these hip flexors, right? Do static stretching, which can temporarily help. But in my opinion, a more permanent fix would be to actually strengthen the antagonistic muscle group, the hip extensors. Okay, let me explain to you how the body works. For example, like when you're making a bicep, see I'm flexing my bicep is shortening. What is actually lengthening is my tricep. So look at it like this. The stronger and the more I can flex my bicep, the more flexibility and stability I'm going to have in this tricep. So they use the same approach when it comes to increasing the flexibility of hip flexors. You have to strengthen your hip extensors. And what's the biggest muscle in your body? The biggest hip flexor is your gluteus maximus, your glutes. Okay, so a great exercise to do would be something like a hip thrust, or maybe you've heard the term like a bridge, where you lay flat on the floor, you bend your knees, and then you thrust up, you push your hips and pelvis up. The more you can develop and squeeze your glutes and make your glutes stronger, the more you're going to increase the flexibility of psoas, iliacus, rectus femoris, all those hip flexors. Any movement that extends the hip is going to elongate and create flexibility in your hip flexors. So cable work, any type of extension move. That's the big takeaway from this video. To really fix tight hip flexors, in my opinion, you have to strengthen your hip extension. And actually, I'm also going to link up another video I did. I got an email like many years ago, about 7-8 years ago, from a woman emailed me saying how you know, she's eating right, she was doing a lot of aerobics, but she just couldn't get rid of this little, she called it a belly pooch, this lower pouch in her stomach. And from, you know, from carefully reading her email, I got the feeling the reason why she had this, like, this anterior pelvic tilt is because her hip flexors were actually really tight. And the video that I just, you know, that I just linked up earlier covers what I talked about here a little bit too. Went over the anatomy and gave some specific exercise. Check out the video. It's going to help you understand how to alleviate tight hip flexors as well. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. You know, if you did enjoy this video, you know, make sure you give me a thumbs up. You know, and once again, if you're really looking to develop your body along with me, you know, hit that subscribe button. Also, hit that bell indicator. I put out videos like this all the time. Right now, in the middle of doing this great anatomy series, which I go through all different body parts of the body, you know, and teach you how to take this information to the gym to better develop your body. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video, and take care and have a wonderful day.